everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing another versus, this time with my Faber-Castell Polychromos and also my Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils. This is going to be really interesting because, as you know, I'm a long-standing fan of the Polychromos. I've got this 24 set of Faber-Castell Polychromos that I'm going to be using in my video today. I've had this set for a while. As you can see, some of the pencils are well used. They come within this metal tin and they sit within a plastic tray, which helps to protect the pencils within the tin. The packaging is quite attractive, however I would quite like a little bit more protection for my colouring pencils. I've also got this Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencil set. I've got 20 pencils in this set. The box for this is a really sturdy cardboard box. It's of a really nice quality and each of the colouring pencils sit within a foam area, so it's a lot better at protecting the colouring pencils than the Faber-Castell Polychromo tin. So in terms of packaging, I think that the Caran D'Ache Luminance wins on that round. Onto the colour swatches, and this is where I think the Faber-Castell Polychromos will trump the Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils, as there are a couple of colours within the Luminance set that I don't think I would use that often, like that salmon pink and this violet. The colours didn't really match all that well between the two sets of colouring pencils, and you can see quite a stark difference between the two sets. There were quite a few nice dark tones in the Luminance set that I couldn't achieve with the Polychromos, but overall I think I prefer the colour choice in the Faber-Castells. So I've started my comparison drawing and I've divided it down the middle using a piece of washi tape, and I'm starting out with my Faber-Castell Polychromos. I'm drawing a hot fudge sundae just because I really enjoy drawing food. It's something that I find really enjoyable and I haven't done in a while, so I decided that I would test out these two pencils on this drawing. If you've been around for a while, you will know that the Faber-Castell Polychromos are one of my favourite pencil brands. The Polychromos are an oil-based colouring pencil, so they're a lot harder in the core than a wax-based colouring pencil, so that can mean that they're a little bit more difficult to blend. It just takes a little bit longer to blend those colouring pencils together. However, because they are an oil base, you can use solvents to blend those pencils. I've got Zest-It that I find to be really good, but you can actually also use turpentine. However, I find that a little bit too harsh on my colouring pencils. For the purposes of this video and comparing with the Luminance colouring pencils, I'm not going to be using any solvent in this video. Another benefit of using an oil-based colouring pencil is they hold their point really well, so you'll be able to get in a really high, precise, fine line with your colouring pencil. I also find that the core lasts a lot longer than a wax-based colouring pencil because it's just not crumbling away as quickly, and you don't have to spend as much time sharpening your pencils. All of the colouring pencils in the 24 set of Polychromos are light fast, so the rating for each of these colouring pencils is actually maximum light fastness, so that means that none of your colouring pencils will fade with the light and you won't get that awful colour shift in your work. So absolutely brilliant if you're looking to sell your work or put it on display. You know that the colours aren't going to fade over time. I don't think there's any denying the fact that when you're looking for art materials, you also need to look at cost, and the Faber-Castell Polychromos usually range between £30 and £40 for this 24 set. I think that's incredibly reasonable to pay that amount because these are a high quality, light fast pencil and mine have lasted me years. If you enjoy this style of video, I recently tested out the Caran D'Ache Luminance against the Prismacolor Premier colouring pencils and I got some pretty interesting results, and also there were quite a few debates in the comments. Who knew that colouring pencils could cause such a stir? If you are interested in seeing that one, I will link it in the description box. Now for one of my favourite moments. So let's get stuck into these Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils. These ones are a wax-based colouring pencil, unlike the Faber-Castell Polychromos. And because they are a wax-based pencil, they are a lot softer, which means that you use them a lot quicker. So if you're quite heavy-handed with your pressure, you can end up going through a colouring pencil quite quickly. I do find because these are soft, they give off quite a lot of pencil dust, so you need to be careful not to smudge that into your page, so you need to just brush that off really carefully. You might also find it's quite difficult to get a precise line or detail with these colouring pencils. I know some people will keep on hand a few oil-based pencils to use on top of their Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils for that reason. The Luminance colouring pencils are very vibrant, so they don't take a whole lot to cover your paper, unlike the Faber-Castells, which are a little bit more transparent and it takes a few more layers to build up your colour. I personally don't mind having to build up my layers, however if you're a bit more impatient then the Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils might be more up your street. Just like the Faber-Castell Polychromos, the Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils are 100% light fast. They offer a really high quality light fastness, and again you won't get that colour shift, you won't get that colour fade. So if you're selling your work or wanting to put it on display, these colouring pencils will also last hundreds of years. In terms of money, the Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils are a lot more expensive than the Faber-Castell Polychromos. The Polychromos, like I said, will set you back between £30 and £40 for the 24 set. However, the Caran D'Ache Luminance, you're looking at roughly £50 to £60 for a 20 set of pencils. And whilst I know the Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils are very expensive, I do personally think that they are worth it. They come really nicely packaged in that box with individual spaces for each pencil within foam, so they are really well protected. The barrel is also a couple of mil wider than the Polychromos, which makes them quite comfortable to hold. I do like the cedar finish of the colouring pencils, however I do really like that you can see the entire colour along the barrel of the Polychromos. So for me personally, that one is quite even in which one I think looks a nicer colouring pencil. If you are enjoying today's video, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up or to subscribe. It will really help out my channel if you do. I find that the Luminance colouring pencils are a lot easier to add additional colours on top than the Faber-Castell Polychromos. For example, if I wanted to add in a bright highlight with the white colouring pencil, it will lay down on one of the darker colours a lot easier than the Faber-Castell will. At times I do have to add in a pen or use some white acrylic paint if I decide to add a highlight within my Faber-Castell Polychromo work. Let me know in the comments what you think of either of these sets of colouring pencils and what side you prefer. I personally think that this is such a close call between these two colouring pencils. They both offer absolutely fantastic light fastness and they both offer a really good range of colours. On reflection, I think the Caran D'Ache Luminance colouring pencils are that much more vibrant and the deeper tones are really rich. So I don't think you can quite achieve that without adding additional layers of other colours with the Faber-Castell Polychromos. Both colouring pencils are expensive and you do have to mentally prepare yourself to spend that on the Luminance colouring pencils. It did take me a good few months to eventually buy them for that reason, but I have not been disappointed with them and I have been such a fan of the Polychromos, but the Luminance I think are just slightly better.
There you guys have it, that was the Polychromo versus the Luminance. I personally do think that the Luminance are ever so slightly better than the Polychromo, but it is so marginal. If you buy the Faber-Castell Polychromos instead of the Caran D'Ache Luminance, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. They're both absolutely brilliant colouring pencils,
and really we're looking at cost. If you can afford to buy the Luminance colouring pencils, then go ahead and buy those. If you feel like you're going to be better suited with the Polychromos, go for them. They're going to last you a lot longer. Let me know in the comments which side of my drawing you think looks better and which colouring pencils you think you are going to buy. Or if you've got both, which ones do you prefer? Make sure you give the video a big thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!